I'd like to welcome everybody today to the Lions Community Center. This great community center, 2005 I believe it was built, but today we're dedicating an addition to this fabulous facility. It's called the Trail of Hope. Forever Wild Trail of Hope. It's going to provide hope for so many people that otherwise might have not had it. And also dedicating the International Children's Garden. And I'll go over all that all along. I just want to say that it all started, I was a member of Trailworks, and I've worked as a recreation therapist for years. And one of the things I realized over my time is there wasn't a lot of accessibility, whether it be nature or even sometimes even in simple things like malls and things like that. And I happened to be thinking back when I was in college, and I remember my friend and I were going, I had him sit in a grocery cart, and we were pushing her, this is at Arizona State University, I was pushing him around the grocery cart to make an example that there weren't enough accessibility entrances into college. And that's a while ago. And so I got thinking back, so it's all coming full circle now. And so this idea, I was working for the state, and soon after I retired from the state, I said, it's a chance to implement this idea. On the last day of my retirement, one of the artists that was associated with Mural Mania, she wanted to paint a mural. She never painted a mural, but she did something more, probably better. She designed this incredible logo that you see for Forever Wild for Everyone, Amy Colmer. And once I saw that come as an email in December of 2010, I said, yes. And then it motivated me to go on and write up the program for this. And so and then what we did is, I realized there was a trail just a little bit northeast of here called Huckleberry Swamp in Rhodes. And Margarita Newman had made sure this trail was totally accessible. She did it. It was already done for us. All we had to do was dedicate it. And that was April 29th, I believe, on a Friday. And Leanne was there. And so was Anderson. And they cut the ribbon. Leanne cut the ribbon 10, 9, 8. The ribbon was cut. And right then we had about 80 people show up for the first dedication for Forever Wild for Everyone. And so that kind of spearheaded. And then when I got my iPhone, the first call on my iPhone, honestly got true, was Leo Roth from the Democrat Chronicle. Will you tell me about Forever Wild for Everyone? And he was at Buffalo Bills Buffalo Bills Draft Center in Buffalo. I said, you called me when you gotta cover the drafts? Yeah, well, there's a lot of dead time with these things. Anybody who follows the NFL knows that. And so we talked, and he came out and went to Huckleberry Swamp and put an article on Mother's Day. And then he came over here and saw the trail. We hadn't even broke ground yet. And he said, wow, what a great idea. So things are starting to roll in the right direction right away. And then on Father's Day, he did cover the trail itself. So we're sitting here, it's March, the musical's going on. And as anybody knows, that they do a fabulous job here in Lions at the musicals. And they have a special screening where everybody can come, nursing homes and from the DDSO, and you name it. And I've seen a lot of you folks that are here today at that screening. Well, it was last year, and Leanne was there. And I went up to Rich and I said, do you think this might be something you might like if we develop a trail for Leanne? He said, sure. And so this all really started right there at the musical, the magical musical. And then we came to the health fair here right in this building. It was in April, or maybe it was March. And that's when Claudia, happy 18th, by the way. Her birthday was yesterday. And her dad feels guilty because he had to go to her birthday party and he had to work on the deck. He's such a dedicated dad, but he was at the birthday party. So I remember walking with Claudia and showing her the trail, and it was just a dirt pile. And I said, back here is where we're going to put a deck in. And actually, the weird thing is, that's going to be one of the last things done is a deck. It was the first thing talked about. That's the way things go sometimes. So then the rain came. If you thought we'd have rain today, you should have seen last spring. We had people ready to move on the trail. Rain. Couldn't even get a skidster out there. Everything would get stuck. So you get a little disappointed. And then around Father's Day, we decided we could finally start the trail. And that first day, I'll never forget it, we had a skidster donated from Butch Handyman, Pine Creek, Eric Westfall came down, and 3 skidsters working out there around this moving dirt. Diane Young came up with this fantastic design for landscape design, where she took all this dirt pile and designed it into berms. So the idea behind the berm is you put it up 3 or 4 feet, and eventually, when you plant on it, it'll hide the bus garage, it'll hide the community center, so it becomes absorbed into nature. So that design really gave us a good template to put this together on. So all we had was this sketch, and we had to move dirt, and dirt we moved. And I remember that I think they were doing a scrap metal drive out there that day, and we were going by with skidsters left and right, moving dirt that day. And then we finally broke through, and I believe like the end of June, we were able to finally break through. There was a photo on Facebook from the other side, not the doors, but we got connected the two entryways for the trail. So then that was inspiration in itself. And then there was we were working with Creative Living and Healthy Living with Cornell. And the after-school program, they're back there with the red bibs on. And thank you. We had the after-school kids come out. And the first day we had 25 kids. And that was a little scary that first day because rakes were going over their head and nobody got hurt, luckily. But I tell you what, those kids matured over the summer. And I really saw that happen. Then there was the day that it was end of June. 25 kids, 25 trees, and myself. What are we going to do? I called up Jerry Benedict. He's a master gardener. I said, Jerry, can you help me plant these trees? Jerry came down, spent the whole day with us. And there's a tree right outside the door. And I'll make sure I point it out to you. That's a Scottish weeping elm. Jerry taught those kids about life. He taught them about how to plant trees. A couple weeks ago, Jerry, doing his love, was out clearing trails in the Finger Lakes Trail System. And they were taking a dead tree down because it was in the way of hikers. Unfortunately, this tree happened to ricochet and he got hit by the tree and he passed. So I'd like to take a moment of silence in honor of Jerry Benedict. Then he planted, and then the drought came. Oh boy, water hoses everywhere. And but then at the end, we were starting to get discouraged because things weren't happening. You know, we had to keep watering. Is this going to happen? But you always have to have hope. And I never give up. And I don't want anybody else to ever give up. So I just got out the phone book and I said, I know there's a Monorama who has gravel, and I didn't even know this person called up in the sand. I said, I need some gravel. Well, actually, I need river rocks. And he goes, I'll donate some river rocks. And so one day, and one of the things we did in the trail is before we even started, I wanted to make sure we had some sort of garden. So in the front of the garden, we had planted butterflies, zinnias, butterfly bushes, and some sunflower. Just enough to give it really a splash to show what we're doing here. Well, I drove down here on that July day, and drove in here and saw two huge piles of rocks. By the way, there's another pile of rocks out there right now. And then I said, yes. Then I walk over, and on the butterfly bush, there's a butterfly. And there's a photo. Well, this is not a butterfly. There's a monarch like this. Okay? You then knew that hope was going to come through. Then it was a rainy day where I met with Samuel, and he mentioned get in touch with Seneca Meadows. They might help you out. On this rainy day, remember Sandy? We were pretty, how are we going to make this happen? You weren't giving up whenever this happened. And so he said, call Seneca Meadows, which I did, and Ben's out there someplace, right, Ben? There he is over there with the Applied Ecological Service. And Seneca Meadows made an eighth donation for us, but one of the things they opened up to me to was the problem of invasive species with natives, and unfortunately a lot of these invasives, the honeysuckle and buckthorn and mustard, garlic mustard, are taking over, and the natives aren't. Well, Andy gave me, Andy, us, and Ben Zimmerman gave us a good education on all that, which opened up another door to a thing called the Native Way. You see a sign out there that says the Native Way. We're trying to make everything within that woods native species for an educational component. So you know that the hickories or the oaks or the red maples are there, or the white pine, not the things that Norway maple that was brought from Europe, things like that. So, I know we'll be talking a little bit. Then I was at the ice cream stand over in Newark, Eaton's, just getting into Sunday. And I run into Larry Graft, Art Graft, and I said, Larry, you did some work for me about 10 years ago. Can you help me on this trail? I know you got some great equipment like bulldozers. Can you help us out? And he was going to help us in June, and again, I kept calling, and in September, Larry said, yeah, I'm going to come over. I'm bringing a bulldozer over. So he brought the bulldozer over, and that was able to finish the grading, pitch things so we could plant things like that and go through the woods, take out everything. So this bulldozer was here an entire day, bulldozing. And then I got a bill in the mail, and I go, uh-oh. No, I opened up 0 at the bottom of the bill. You know how much that's worth? Probably about $1,500, that donation that day. Then last summer, this is how this connection came in. Norman Polinicki, up there, Norman, someplace. Well, Norman stayed at our bed and breakfast, and he told me all about Jim Tusher, and said, you got to find out about Jim to get in touch with this class of '57 because he did some amazing things for handicap. Started Paraquat, and that's where that connection came in. And I'm reading further, I was just amazed that somebody's told me once we're all walking the same towpath or footprints, and you really believe that. I wish I had a chance, because after reading more and more about him, I would have loved to sit down and have a cup of coffee or a beer. I'm not sure if he drank or not, but whatever. But it would just been nice. And it just is all the way from Colorado. We have his family here today, and the class of '57. Why don't you take this opportunity to stand up? The class of 1957. Not only did they organize, get me in contact with Jim, they made a donation of $500 from the class of '57, and different classmates also made a donation. So it's a great honor. And when my friend Ricky Black was putting, he's a good woodworker, I said, can you make a bench up? And Carol Bailey, that bench right there, is signed by the class of 57, and it's going to be on the trail. All the names of every classmate is on this badge. So. And then we were starting to get some recognition, and we got invited to be speakers at the New York Parks and Trails Conference in Ithaca on September 20th and 21st, I believe. Fran? Is Fran still here? Yes, thank you, Fran. And it was such a great, I love conferences where you can do some great networking. And the first day, on a similar day like today, where it was raining, we toured Cass Park and the Ithaca Children's Garden. And I was like, wow, that is so cool. And I go, we always had this space in the trail. What were we going to do with it? So the wheels started spinning. I said, we're going to do a children's garden. Because these children, and not a lot of them are, hey, come here. Is it Colin? Come here. Both of you guys, come here. Come up here. Wow. There they are. These guys, his brother, he's up here. You're a part of this too. Don't be bashful. Okay. Here we have Connor. And these guys, got so excited about coming out here and planting. They just loved it. And I said, we've got to honor these guys, okay? So let's build a children's garden. And I never forgot, it's on a video, one of the children just said, yes, we're going to build a children's garden for us. Can you believe it? And you know darn well, you got to do it. So because of you, Connor, we're doing it. And Connor, what's the name of your tree?
Don Redwood.
And how tall will that tree get?
200 feet.
That's right. And in that tree, I think is the rain stopping out there? Yes! We will show you Connor's tree. So, thanks for being such an inspiration for me, okay? All right. You want to talk later? Sure. Well, we'll figure that out. Okay, thank you. You gonna picture that? So the children's garden was started, and then we had this problem of water. What are we going to do with it? There was this little indention, the water's going to Black Brook, and somebody said, you need a culvert. I said, no, I want a covered bridge. I had just read into this Amish fellow that got me turned on to rough cut lumber. I said, I think we can do this. And with Adam Chapin, who spent numerous hours on the trail, he was running that skidster, I can't even count how many hours. We built a covered bridge with a 60-degree weather over Thanksgiving weekend. And so then we decided to have Santa's Workshop out there, and it was a little cold that day, but it just opens up possibilities for more things like that. And then we had Margaret, how you doing out there? She's a great artist. She made a fairy house, which is up here for our covered bridge that day. And also the face of the Irishman. We're going to have a garden that's called the International Garden of Love. And we're going to have faces painted from around the world because we're teaching children where things are grown. Okay, I'm going to quiz you guys. Where are potatoes from? You're wrong. South America. Raise your hand. You have got the right answer. Okay? Give her a hand. That's why we're doing this teaching garden. We'll hear a little more about it later. And that covered bridge, Secor Lumber donated the materials for that. I can't say enough about Secor Lumber. Every time we needed a skidster, we needed a pole stone digger, we needed lumber. At first he was going to charge us half price for the bridge. He looked at it I sent him an email, I said, oh, that email before where I said I was going to charge him, forget that. I said, you guys did a fantastic job on that. So, you can't say enough about it. And I probably will miss somebody, and I apologize for that, because there's so many people And there will be a plaque. We're going to have to vet it out. We need all your help to make sure we don't miss any names or people that have helped out on donations. From trees to plants, you name it. And it was last, I think it was October on a nice sunny day when we planted, Meredith, you want to stand up? Meredith planted the heart of garlic. Okay. And, which you have to plant garlic in the fall. And we're almost time to harvest. In fact, you can take some of it home, the tops of it, and use it right now. And we planted trees that day, and we had donated flowers. And because of those donated flowers that you planted with Joanna Stope and Carol Hagley that day, they are, and the kids, they were helping too. They're multiplied over the winter like 3 times, so we got lots of flowers. There's been help from the Finger Lakes CDSO. They've been fabulous. They were out here yesterday, the crew program. There was 2 dump trucks full of mulch. I came back, there weren't 2 dump trucks full of mulch, they were gone. They put mulch on all the berms. Put the trail in, raked it with gravel, you name it, they did it. So, and then there's other group homes that came over and donated flowers. So it's just been a fantastic experience, and all the help from Cornell. With we had was that October 24th. We had a gym filled up with the kids and parents and healthy eating. Not only is this trail good for helping you for accessibility, it also gets kids outside, and that's the most important. When I was 12 years old, I had a half-acre garden. Kids love gardening. And they can't wait to garden, they run out. So the more we get outside, the healthier we will be. Okay, then it was, I think I'm on the second page here. Then the weather, amazing winter. I mean, it wasn't helpful to the farmers around here, but I think it was was it April? The Marion Girl Scouts came over? Early April, yes. Really, yes. And planted with a whole troop. From Marion came over and planted the butterfly garden, which has everything in it that will attract butterflies. And we think it's the largest butterfly-shaped garden in the state. Kids transplanted in April, a lot of flowers. We've had the weekenders from the Wake County Jail come over, and they did amazing work pulling out all the invasives out of the woods. We had 7 dump truck fulls go out of the woods of stuff that shouldn't be there. And then, is Helen Santelli here? She's been a great resource too. And she came up with this idea for the willow tunnel. And you'll see that out there. There's willow trees that she run through and things like that. And Empire Tree Surgeon Don Barchuka called me and says, I got your trees for you. It was a Sunday afternoon. So he came over and he dug up 50 trees for me. And we planted it the next day out here at the willow tunnel. With help of the DDSO guys. And then we get a grant from Lowe's. I went over there, I bought a washing machine, and I ended up getting a deck. I still have the bill for the washing machine, but I got it. The best thing is I got a donation for $1,500 for a deck that we're still building out there. And I just want to say something while we're on the deck. Rich, stand up. Next week is Father's Day. If there's any contest for Father Year, this guy should be it. Yeah. He was down here at 7 o'clock this morning in the rain working on the deck as he tried to finish it. And if we had a darn drill that would hold the charge, we didn't have DeWalt's for only one day. We got these whack deckers. They get 3 screws and it's over with, but we would have had the deck in. And then there was Dave Burnham. It was Dave, I don't know if Dave's here today, but called him, and anytime we need anything, he shows up. Tractors, rollers, here's the keys, run it. And so we put that to good work. Then we had the Village of Lyons helping us move gravel and dirt. And the Town of Lyons came over with their joint, they have a roller with three communities, Rose, Galen, and Lyons, and they rolled a trail for us to compact that stone dust down. So it's been a collaborative effort from all sorts of municipalities to private individuals. Lions Club of North Rose Lions Club gave us a $200 donation for trees. Then if you wonder what that knife is over the table, it's not a haunted, which we're going to do at some point. It's for sod furniture. And we have 4 sod furnitures out there, and that's what you cut the sod with. That was a lot of fun too. And Sandy will talk about that a little bit. And then, when you realize it's really going to happen is when I was down there a couple Saturdays ago, and I had a butterfly bush in my hand going over to the butterfly trail. I put that in before the Girl Scouts got here. One butterfly bush, but this boy comes over and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm about to climb a butterfly bush." I said, "Would you like to help me?" He said, "Sure." And he goes, "What are you doing this trail for?" And I said, "We're building a trail so wheelchairs can go down." He says, "Well, my dad's in a wheelchair. He was shot 20 years ago in Rochester." He goes, I play for the Flower City basketball team, and I like flowers." And I said, "I bet your dad plays for the Rochester Wheels on the basketball team." He said, "Yeah, he's the coach." And he went in and got his father, and they went down the trail together. And he knew right then this was really a trail of hope. And then about 2 weeks later, we got the final stone dust down, and Leanne came down for the first time and went the entire length of the trail with her dad. And at the end of the day, at the gateway to the Trail of Hope, Leanne stood for the first time in public. She's been on physical therapy. So give Leanne a hand. This week was pretty special on Wednesday. We had Mrs. Pagliano's class stand up. Oh, you were sleeping? Were you sleeping? Oh, no, she brought her 5th grade class down here, and I don't know, my mom, you want to say a little bit about what your impression of them was? They were great, it's right, more than great. She was worried about, well, these kids, what are they going to do? Don't worry, they'll be fine. And the time ran too quick because they weeded, they built the sundial, and maybe, hopefully, if we get to use the sundial, that means it's good. It actually tells you what time it is, anytime, except it's daylight savings time, so don't come in like December and try to find out what time it is. It might be awful up there. So that was just fantastic. Your class down here, and your Girl Scouts showing up from Lions, the Boy Scouts showing up from Lions, and just helping. There was just so much outpouring. And even with all that help, we still got things to do. So we still have to build wheelchair decks out there and wheelchair planters. So, and then, oh yes, I looked over at the right time. I get a call, was that Thursday? Wednesday? Wednesday, the same day of the class, I just left. Sandy calls me, and Drew's right over here. And she'll be talking later, and she shows up with Herman. Herman and her, the husband and wife, would walk the Erie Canal Trail. And now Herman's in a wheelchair, and he can no longer walk the trail. But now he can come down to the Trail of Hope. And Sandy will tell you a little bit about that later. So that was on Wednesday, so that was a special day. So there's a lot more speakers to go on, and I've said enough, but I just want to give you a chronological history of where we're going. 2 things that we can do. We got plans for a stage. We can have a Celtic Fest or concerts out here. The band played in the bus garage. Next year, the band hopefully can play on the stage. We hope to have a waterfalls that runs sustainability waterfalls. And so those are some things in the plans for the future. So looking forward to all these things happening, and looking forward to, most of all, therapy happening in this building. So you can walk therapy, and you walk out the door and you do range of motions for OT, physical therapy where you use your rollator and go 100 feet to another bench. And that's all to come. And we've got a whole curriculum set up on how to do educational that we'll hear more about later. So there's a lot of hope ahead. So without further ado, I suppose I should end my portion and find out who's up next.